Okay, let's start talk about the newest chapter in One Piece, 1035. And yeah, so you know, if you have not read it, this video is a spoiler. So let's go. And we start with the best part, absolutely the best part in the chapter, and that is with King, Kaido, and also King fighting Zoro. And yeah, and now we know that King is the first crew member of Kaido's crew, and Kaido and King was uh, under experiment from the world government. So first time when Kaido meets King is when he is on the laboratory bank to with this experiment on. And so King is belong to a race like the Shandorians, a group that is similar to the race that Viper is, the guy that fights against Anel. Yeah, I think it's really cool, and he has ability when he fights against Zoro. He uses a different sword style. One is that he uses sword breaker. He uses different like a flaming dragon. It's a really cool character, and I think that King is much cooler without his mask than with his mask, and he's a really cool character, and he's a really really cool character. It's sad that he's belongs to the bad guys, but he's a really cool character. He have a much more. I think you're gonna have much more sympathy for him than for Queen, because King have a reason, because what he do, why he joined Kaido's crew is because of discrimination and oppression against his people, in comparison to Queen that just wanted to try experiments. So always King is have a much more. I think that is with King, King is a really cool character because of who he is behind the mask, and really that his character of that personality is something different. It's something like first when you meet King, before you know all this, before you think King is just a bloodthirsty warrior that fights for Kaido, that is a bloodthirsty tyrant. But when you really see really King's background, there always is a very 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 short backstory. Don't even it's very short, like about just show him on the laboratory bank, place to experiment on, and this kind of thing. So, but for me, that is specific for King. Obviously, beside King is the first uh, person with dark skin in One Piece, like the first person that is not like a character, is the first, and that don't really mean anything. It's just he just have dark skin. But the cool thing here is that he is some cool reason for his thing. Is the thing when he do, he have a reason, and then also this also tells us that the world government is the main evil in One Piece. It's not Blackbeard, it's not Shanks, it's not Kaido, it's not Big Mom. The real evil in One Piece is the world government. The world government have to fall, and there is a reason why I'm 100% certain now that the world government is the final antagonist, the final opponent, that the celestial dragons, the five elders. Because if you think about it, how much suffering they have done, like human genocide for profiting, for example, Law's town, they know there was a poison thing there in that place where Law come from before he joined up with the Doflamingo crew, and then later on joined Monk and Luffy to fight against Kaido, all of this kind of thing. So this really tells us that One Piece cannot end without the world government disappear. And we don't know how the world government gonna disappear. This can be anything from that the Revolutionary Army, so I say it will take down the world government, but after that, who will rule? How will the world work when the Revolutionary Army rule? Will they be similar to the world government in the way how they treat their subjects? So I think it's a very interesting thing and a very important thing to understand here. Just because you are a revolutionary army first, don't mean that you're going to turn out to be like the same dictator or a tyrannical rule in that in one piece when you rule. So I think this is more complicated because if say like this, Blackbear win. He defeat the world government. He defeat the revolutionary army and he defeat Monk Luffy and he be the king, for example. What's gonna happen next? Because even if he is a king, even if he have two of the most powerful paramecias in One Piece, one that we know so far about, it still don't matter. Like he can destroy Earth, he can destroy anything, obviously, but in the political term, he don't gonna have the respect. He don't do. How do he gonna try to conquer the underworld, the water, like the fish people? Do he gonna put them in slavery? Obviously not, because Blackbeard don't want to do that, because Blackbeard don't want to have take all this effort and all this time. And that is the specific thing here with the world government, is that they have done they don't experiment on giants. They put a racist discriminators on the fish people. They put them in slavery. So the whole thing, you think about the thing in comparison with pirates, what pirates do in comparison to the world government. So it's the real Blackbear. In comparison, is Blackbear a good person in comparison with the world government? Even all of his crew is good in comparison with the world government. Captain Huon obviously have killed lots of people, but in nothing, it's not even comparable to the world governments. How many have killed for profit and for power? So it's a huge difference is how they really see. For me, this chapter was amazing. Like, obviously you have some part in the chapter was okay, but this chapter was amazing with King. I think it really gives me a very interesting thing for me to think about. Like, really, I don't care about what skin color King have. That means it's not nothing interesting. It means nothing. It's King is King. But the interesting thing here is that really that King have a reason for what he do. Like, he is not evil. The only thing that why he fights against Zoro is because of that they are enemy pirates. But in other sense, they can also join forces against the world government because of the world government. I say it again. I maybe say it 2066. Anyways, is the real enemy in One Piece. So that is the problem. So when I think about this now, I also think about Rock Tissebeck, and I also think about that maybe Rock Tissebeck was right. Maybe Rock Tissebeck should have killed all the Celestial Dragons to make the world a better place. Maybe he should have done that in One Piece. And I really think about it now, when you more and more hear what would the world government do against their people, against people that look different from them, that have belong to like a group of people that have wings, for example as King, or group like come from the sky people like Viper. interesting question why the world government is this way, why they are that way they are. It is a very interesting. What is the background, and how was the world in One Piece before the world government takes over, and who was the ancient kingdoms? And all of this is, I think, is super interesting. Really, was was the ruling empires and then the world government always that hateful against other people, other races, or was it something that happened? I think this is something I really want to have an answer to when One Piece, before One Piece have ended. Really, what is the background for this kind of discrimination and hate that the world government brings to the world? Because the world government is a reason for that we have these pirates. It's the reason for why we have the emperors. For example, Kaido is a reason for Kaido's attitude against the world is because of world government. So all of this really gives gives us a direction to where we're gonna go from here on, to understand understand the point of why is so important. What I think, that's maybe maybe my solo opinion, but there is the reason for why it's important to understand the world government, to understand the background of them, to understand the five elders, the guy over them, him, to understand about specifically about the Celestial Dragon. Why is Celestial Dragon? They are ugly people, extremely ugly people. They are ugly people, but have they always been ugly? Is something is something interesting here. It's very interesting that they are. I think this is. I think one a new backstory I really want to know about is the back history of the Celestial Dragons, where they come from. Besides, obviously they are from space. I mean, what is the background from? Why do they have this kind of attitude against other people, and specifically people that like the fish people, the Shandorians, other version of the sky people? What is the background for why do they see themselves as superior to them? What is really they what is who gives them that belief, and that what gives them the belief to think that way? I should say, maybe that is maybe more correct to say, why do they really think? Do they? I think if you think about it, Monkey D. Luffy punches Lesser Dragon in the face, and then we see Admiral coming to the island to seek retribution because they punched Lesser Dragon. But Slasher Dragons are not powerful on themselves. They always hide behind a military force. So they are really weak people. They're really weak. And the only thing that gives them so much lots of power is lots of money, because they are mega rich, super mega rich groups of people. And yeah, I think the chapter was amazing, and it gives me much more thing to think about for the future of One Piece than just about King. I think King is a super cool character, much super cool, and for me, obviously, it's not how King looks like. It's not that what makes him super cool for me. It's just the things that he brings up without saying anything. Like really, like for example, if you could have a comparison for the why they do what they do. For example, you have Queen, and Queen was one member of the secret scientists, and then he worked with the German kingdom. But Queen was just wanted to experiment on people, and Queen is just a disgusting character because how that he, for example, one thing that's really disgusting with Queen is that he hits women and he blames other people. So he's a really disgusting person. For example, he blackmailed Sanji when he turned. I always say this thing wrong. But when he turned visible, and he forced females to work for him. When females reject him, he damaged them. So he's a disgusting character. It's a very strange mix of characters in Kaido's crew. Some characters have a reason for what they do. For example, King, and then we have characters that is just disgusting characters like Queen. Um, so absolutely, I think I think it's gonna be cool. I think One Piece always get much better. I think they never go down. They always go up like a big wave that get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And One Piece have the full right to be the best because they are the best. You cannot say that One Piece is not the best manga in the world. You can be ignorant and say that absolutely. You can, but One Piece have a reason for why they are the best. They have a deep history from different groups of different people in the One Piece world, and they also have it's more than pirates and guns and swords and devil fruit. It's more. There's something deeper in One Piece that gives it the big flame to move it forward in the One Piece. In the world of One Piece, something I don't have any word for it, but it's something like Lord of the Ring, like the world of Lord of the Ring. It's similar to One Piece in that sense that it's bigger than the ring, it's bigger than the dives, Silmarillions. It's something special. Excuse me. It's something very very special that is really really hard to explain. I think if you read One Piece or you read Lord of the Ring, actually read the books, every before the Ring, before the Hobbit, the ancient time in that lore, Silmarillions and the other books, and you really, I think it's more about, it's nothing about, it's more than the people, more than like there's something in the world that gives it is an interest, like a deep meaning for something like that. I think that is something very rare to find today in books about mythology and like the One Piece. I think it's very very rare. I think it's something special with One Piece because they have it. I think you will not find it. Like One Piece is something that stands alone in comparison to all of the other manga. Something that stands. They look like the other manga, but look is not. It means nothing. Like you can look. The thing that is important here is the history. What you read, that is important. The text, not the look. The text is important because the people remember is what they have read from that book. That is what they're gonna talk about. If you just talk about, oh wow, okay, King have dark skin. Wow, King is the first person with dark skin. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That is it's not interesting. The interesting here is that the history of One Piece, the history of I don't mean the One Piece. I mean the whole thing, history, and now I more than ever want to see Zoro fight again. The guy with the Nodachi sword of the Five Elder. I don't know his name. The bald guy. this is the guy I really want to see Sword fight against, because I really, really want to see how powerful they are. What kind of ability do that guy have? Do he have a soulless devil fruit killer sword that can kill devil fruits? Yeah, and that is the final thing I will say. Is amazing chapter. I, yeah, it's cannot can always it can. It's just gonna be better and better. And my next manga review, I don't know when it's gonna be, but gonna be a review for the newest chapter of Ragnarok. Continuation on between the fight between Hades and Shishuang Di. Yeah, and then obviously, no, I'm sorry. My next review gonna be One Piece, because what? Because we're probably gonna get 3 more One Piece chapter, or 4 more One Piece chapter before we're gonna get the next Reckoning and Ragnarok chapter. So yeah, there's gonna be. We hope that the next One Piece chapter gonna be as good as this chapter was. It's probably gonna be, because it's Oda always do amazing work. Yeah, it's amazing.